Thinking about planting a climbing vine in your garden? Be careful. Some of the most popular ones can turn into serious problems. From aggressive spreading to damage on walls and fences, they often cause more stress than beauty. They may start off looking charming, fast-growing, full of flowers, covering fences in no time. But many gardeners quickly realize they've planted a long-term headache. To save you from the same fate, let's take a look at 7 climbing plants you might want to think twice about, plus safer, stunning alternatives you can trust. Kicking off the list is Morning Glory, a vine that enchants with its vivid flowers, but leaves gardeners battling a takeover they never saw coming. At first glance, Morning Glory seems like the perfect addition to a garden fence or trellis. With its vibrant, trumpet-shaped blooms in shades of blue, pink, and purple, and fast-growing habit, it promises instant charm and coverage. It's especially tempting for those wanting to quickly green up a bland wall or arbor. But beneath its cheerful display lies a serious problem. Morning Glory is a self-seeding machine. Once established, it drops seeds that sprout far and wide, sometimes dozens of feet away. In warmer climates, it can become a semi-permanent pest, popping up in cracks, beds, and between shrubs. Pulling it up doesn't guarantee success either, because even missed seedlings will rapidly regrow and reclaim territory. Many gardeners who once admired it say they now spend every season pulling out vines they never meant to plant. What starts as a burst of color ends in frustration, especially in gardens where order and control matter. It's a classic example of a plant that gives more than you bargained for, and not in a good way. If you're after a similar look without the trouble, go for black-eyed Susan vine or a non-vigorous clematis. They offer rich blooms, manageable growth, and none of the spread-you'll-regret drama. Next on the list is Japanese honeysuckle, a vine that lures with its sweet scent and creamy white blooms, but quickly turns into a rampant invader. At first, it feels like a dream for covering fences or adding fragrance to summer evenings. The twining habit and long-lasting flowers make it a favorite among beginners looking for fast results and a cottage garden vibe. But behind that charm lies a reputation for running wild and choking out anything in its path. The problem? Japanese honeysuckle doesn't just climb where you want it, it sprawls across garden beds, trees, and shrubs, often smothering native plants along the way. It forms dense mats of tangled vines, spreads aggressively by runners and seeds, and is nearly impossible to fully remove once established. Even regular cutting back barely keeps it in check, especially in warmer regions where it grows year-round. Many gardeners who planted it for a romantic look now spend years battling its spread. It climbs into trees, pulls down weak structures, and pops up in places you never planted it. What once seemed like an innocent addition can easily take over your entire yard and even jump into neighboring properties if you're not careful. If you're looking for a similar look and fragrance without the invasion, go for late Dutch honeysuckle. It offers the same sweet scent and tubular flowers, but grows more slowly and is far easier to manage, especially in cooler climates. Coming in next is sweet autumn clematis, a vigorous climber that smells like heaven but acts like a garden takeover artist. It starts innocently enough, with soft white flowers that burst into bloom in late summer and fill the air with a vanilla scent. Its fast growth seems like a bonus at first, especially if you're looking to quickly screen an unsightly fence or trellis, but give it a single season and it'll claim far more than its fair share of space. Sweet autumn clematis spreads through a massive flush of seeds that readily sprout in beds, cracks, or even your neighbor's yard. The vines quickly smother nearby shrubs and smaller plants,
while the roots dig in deep and stubborn. Even after cutting it back, it returns with enthusiasm, thicker and more tangled than before. Many regret planting it after realizing it doesn't know when to stop. What started as a sweet, late-season bloomer turns into a sprawling mess, with endless seedlings sprouting where you least expect them. The cleanup is constant, and the battle to contain it becomes an annual chore. If you're after white flowers and late-season charm, consider Clematis paniculata Sweet Summer Love or Clematis recta purpurea as safer alternatives. They give you similar floral beauty, but with a more manageable habit, and none of the self-seeding headache. Now let's talk about Virginia creeper, a native vine that seems like a great idea until it starts tearing up your walls. With its bold 5-leaf clusters and brilliant red fall color, it's easy to see why gardeners fall for it. It promises fast vertical coverage, turns any fence into a living tapestry, and even helps cool walls in summer. But once it gets going, it rarely stays polite. The real trouble comes from its tendrils tipped with adhesive pads that cling tightly to surfaces. Left unchecked, Virginia creeper can damage siding, mortar, painted walls, and even roofs. It also spreads underground and reappears in odd places, creeping into garden beds and overtaking perennials. And once you try removing it, the clinging pads often leave permanent marks behind. Plenty of gardeners who wanted a lush, climbing backdrop now wish they'd chosen something a little less determined. It's a classic case of a plant doing its job too well, only to become a long-term nuisance that's hard to get rid of cleanly. For similar bold foliage and stunning fall color without the structural damage, try Ampelopsis breve pedunculata elegans in areas where it's not invasive. It offers a similar sprawling form and colorful berries, but with a softer root system and less destructive grip, though still not for small spaces. If you're in a region where no safe vine alternative exists, consider training Virginia creeper on a freestanding trellis away from buildings and prune regularly to keep it contained. Structural beauty is possible with boundaries. Up next is Passionflower, a vine that dazzles with exotic blooms and tropical flair, but often grows far beyond what gardeners bargain for. Those intricate, otherworldly flowers are undeniably stunning, and the vine's rapid growth seems like a blessing for covering fences or arbors. In warm zones, it's especially popular for attracting pollinators and creating lush privacy screens in a single season. But here's the downside. Passionflower doesn't know when to stop. In the right climate, especially USDA zones 8 and up, it sends out underground runners that pop up feet away from the original planting site. It can smother nearby plants, tangle into shrubs, and climb into trees before you even realize it's spreading. And because it's so hardy, cutting it back barely slows it down. Many gardeners who planted it for its unique blooms now regret giving it space at all. They find themselves chasing underground shoots, pulling vines out of gutters, and trying to tame what's become an unruly, garden-dominating force. If you want exotic-looking blooms without the underground chaos, try Clematis texensis. It produces vivid, bell-shaped flowers in rich red tones and has a tidy, non-spreading root system, perfect for smaller gardens. While not as tropical-looking as Passionflower, it still offers bold floral interest with a disciplined growth habit. Another option is to grow Passiflora in a large container with buried edging, which allows you to enjoy its blooms without letting the roots run wild. Boston ivy might seem like the perfect vine for classic ivy-covered walls, but looks can be deceiving. Its glossy green leaves turn brilliant shades of crimson in fall, making it a favorite for adding seasonal drama to buildings or fences.
It grows quickly, climbs easily, and creates that storybook aesthetic many homeowners dream of. However, Boston ivy clings tightly to surfaces using adhesive discs that can damage painted wood, brick mortar, and even vinyl siding. Once attached, the pads are incredibly difficult to remove, often leaving permanent marks or pulling materials apart during cleanup. It also spreads by seed and root, and once it's in your garden, it's tough to get rid of entirely. Plenty of gardeners later regret using it on their homes, especially when facing costly repairs or struggling to remove it from delicate structures. It may look romantic, but it can be a long-term headache if you're not prepared for the consequences. For a similar wall covering effect with less risk, consider Hydrangea Anamala petiolaris. It offers beautiful white lace-cap flowers, attractive bark, and heart-shaped leaves that provide seasonal texture without the destructive adhesive pads of Boston ivy. Just make sure it's trained on a strong support like masonry or stone, as it can become heavy over time. It's a slower grower, but far more garden-friendly in the long run. Closing out the list is chocolate vine, a plant that sounds sweet and harmless, but quickly reveals its invasive side. With delicate, dangling purple-brown flowers that smell like vanilla and dense 5-leaf foliage, it's often promoted as a unique climber for fences and pergolas. Gardeners are drawn to its rapid growth and romantic woodland feel, especially in shaded areas where other vines struggle. But once it's in the ground, it's not so easy to forget or remove. Chocolate vine spreads via underground rhizomes that extend far beyond where you plant it. In just a couple of seasons, you may find it popping up in garden beds, borders, and even under patios. Its vines are tough and twining, able to overwhelm nearby shrubs, and the plant can scale trees or fences with surprising speed. In many regions, particularly in the eastern United States, it's considered invasive, outcompeting native plants and escaping cultivation. Gardeners often share stories of regret, saying they were seduced by its elegance but ended up fighting a battle to contain it. Even with frequent pruning and root control, it tends to resurge aggressively. In small gardens or natural areas, this vine can become a long-term nuisance rather than a charming feature. If you're seeking a unique climber with intriguing blooms, try Clematis étoile violette or Lonicera paraclimamum serratina instead. Both offer rich color, gentle fragrance, and controlled growth without the risk of a vine invasion you'll spend years trying to undo. And there you have it, 7 climbers that might look lovely at first, but often turn into garden headaches. The good news? With the right plants, you can still get all the beauty, coverage, and color without the regret. Thanks for watching PlantDo Home and Garden. If you found this helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more honest gardening tips and plant advice. We'll see you in the next one.